Two college football powerhouses, both top 5 in all-time wins, and arguably the most rabid fan bases, colliding on the biggest stage in 2024. But we've seen this before. The last time Texas and Ohio State faced off, they gave us one of the most unforgettable games in Fiesta Bowl history. Before Ewers and Howard, it was McCoy and Pryor. Brown and Tressel walked so Sarkisian and Day could run. Whether this video makes you more hyped about the upcoming semifinal or more nervous, today I take you back in time to relive the matchup between the Horns and Bucks in the 2008 season. I want to see which fan base is more vocal, so Texas fans, leave me a hook 'em in the comments, and OSU fans, give me a go Buckeyes. If you love college football, feel free to subscribe for more, and let's get into it. The Texas Longhorns entered the 2008 season with sky-high expectations thanks to their 11th year head coach Mack Brown, who had already proven himself with a national championship in 2005 with Vince Young, plus they had junior Heisman hopeful quarterback Colt McCoy. Coming off a 10-3 campaign in 2007, Texas had its sights on the BCS title yet again. McCoy led one of the most explosive offenses in college football with standout receivers like Jordan Shipley and Quan Cosby alongside a veteran O-line. On the defensive side of the ball, the Longhorns weren't lacking either because they had future NFL talent like Brian Arakpo and Earl Thomas. Texas's dominance was evident throughout the regular season, including a statement win over then #1 ranked Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. Say that 5 times fast. Red River rivalry. The win catapulted the Longhorns into the new #1 team in the nation. But there was a bump in the road during week 10 of the season in the matchup against Texas Tech. Wide receiver Michael Crabtree's last-second touchdown handed the Longhorns their only loss of the year. This loss created a 3-way tie in the Big 12 South, with Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas Tech each having one conference loss. Despite their head-to-head win over Oklahoma, the BCS rankings ultimately favored the Sooners, giving them a shot in the national championship game and relegating #3 ranked Texas to the Fiesta Bowl. This decision sparked anger and debate across the college football landscape, which ultimately gave the Longhorns a chip on their shoulder heading into the game. Ohio State hoped that their 2008 would be a story of redemption because Buckeye fans were traumatized after coming up just short and losing in back-to-back national championships during the previous 2 seasons. And both of the games were lopsided contests. 8th-year OSU head coach Jim Tressel returned with a veteran-led roster, including standout defenders like James Laurinaitis, who is now the linebackers coach in 2024 for the Buckeyes, fun fact, and Malcolm Jenkins. On offense, the Buckeyes started the season with senior quarterback Todd Beckman. However, after an embarrassing 35-3 loss to #1 USC in week 3 of the season that knocked OSU out of the top 5, Tressel knew he had to make a bold move. So he benched the senior Beckman and handed the keys to the offense to freshman phenom Terrell Pryor. Pryor's arrival injected new life into the Ohio State offense because his dual threat ability complemented running back Beanie Wells. The Buckeyes leaned heavily on their ground game and a stingy defense to navigate their Big Ten schedule. Despite their early stumble, Ohio State bounced back with key wins over top 20 Michigan State and Wisconsin. Their only other loss in the regular season was to #3 Penn State at home. With a 10-2 record, the Buckeyes secured a share of the Big Ten title. Unfortunately, their resume lacked any marquee wins, leading to questions about their ability to compete with a top-tier Texas. The stage was set for a thrilling showdown between the two powerhouses that had only met twice in their history, despite being some of the longest-running programs in the FBS. Texas, ranked #3, was angry about not getting into the BCS National Championship game and wanted to take it out on the Buckeyes. Ohio State, ranked #10, wanted to get over their recent ghost of underperforming on the big stage. Could Ohio State's defense stop the high-flying attack of Colt McCoy? The game lived up to its billing. Ohio State struck first with a field goal after a 9-play drive stalled out with 7 minutes to go in the first. We did see an interesting wrinkle from Jim Tressel. He had Beckman taking snaps at quarterback with Pryor lined up at wide receiver. The 2-quarterback system would continue for the rest of the game. Texas retaliated with a field goal of their own midway through the second quarter. The first half is what a casual fan would call boring, with a 6-3 OSU lead, but it was instead a defensive chess match where the Buckeyes were able to slow down the air attack from Colt McCoy and company, including a last-second interception to end the half and take momentum into the locker room. However, This wouldn't last long. The third quarter was dominant for Texas, and at one point it looked like they would run away with the game. In their opening drive, the Longhorns went for 15 plays in over 6 minutes, capped off with McCoy doing it himself and dancing into the end zone. They did it again with a minute left to go in the third, a passing touchdown off the hands of McCoy, taking a 17-6 lead. Ohio State's offense went completely dormant. Pryor was being sacked, and the run game with Beanie Wells wasn't that effective anymore, as they were outscored by Texas 14-0 in the quarter. But just when you thought it was over, things got fun. Ohio State finally broke their scoreless streak with a 44-yard field goal with 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter, from a drive that started with Beckman and ended with Pryor. 17-9. After a big defensive stand at midfield, OSU got the ball back at their own 20. Terrell Pryor was fantastic with his legs, extending plays when they broke down and making terrific reads on designed quarterback runs. Beckman returned under center in the red zone and ended up throwing a fade route for a tutty, making it a 17-15 game. Ohio State failed the 2-point attempt, but their defense then stood up against the Horns, forcing them to go 3 and out on their ensuing possession. OSU got the ball right back, scoring for the third straight time and taking a shocking lead. It was the tale of 2 quarters for each side, and this time the Buckeyes had all the momentum. But Colt McCoy and the Longhorns had a chance to get the last laugh with the ball and just over 2 minutes to go on the clock. The only thing standing in front of them was the rugged Ohio State defense that had owned them for the last few possessions. I'll show you guys the wild finish.
And what a way for Quan Cosby to end his Longhorns career.
The victory cemented Colt McCoy's legacy as one of the greatest quarterbacks in Texas history. He finished the game with 414 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, earning Fiesta Bowl MVP honors. The Longhorns used the win as a springboard for their 2009 campaign, which saw them reach the BCS National Championship. For Ohio State, the loss was a bitter pill to swallow. It was the first time since the late 80s where they lost 3 straight bowl games, but on the bright side, it highlighted the potential of Terrell Pryor, who would go on to lead the Buckeyes to a Rose Bowl win in the following season. If history is any indication, we're going to get another classic in the 2024 CFP Semifinal, and I can't wait. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments, and I might just make another for Notre Dame and Penn State. I've been Saturday Shenanigans, your home for unfiltered college football content, and I'll see you guys soon.